Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Born on this date in 1854, notable composer in the Sacred Harp tradition, Seaborn McDaniel Denson of Arbuckle. In 1942, former Congressman Earl Hilliard of Birmingham, and in 1971, former NFL lineman Anthony Redmond of Bruton. Today is National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. It was today in 1942 that the Imperial Japanese transferred American and Filipino POWs via the 65-mile Bataan Death March that led to the deaths of thousands. On the briefing today, we have more news out of Tarrant, whether you want it or not, a new suicide prevention law, how many students applied for Choose Act funds, and why John Rogers is out of prison. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you think that all Washington and Montgomery politics need is a little more nuttiness, then you might consider moving to Tarrant, Alabama. And we've chronicled issues between the mayor and the city council and other city officials. There have been firings reversed, the insulting of spouses, punches thrown, lawsuits filed, and a racial slur in that I think I can say it in this context kind of way. We had AL.com's Joseph D. Bryan on the show late last year to go over all of it, or as much of it as we could in a half hour or so. Now, Bryant reported that Tarrant police are investigating an incident caught on video in which it appears that City Magistrate Tanelia Jackson pulled a gun out of her handbag during an exchange with another woman. Now, it should be noted that visitors and employees, including city magistrates, are prohibited from bringing firearms into public buildings in Tarrant. Police Chief Wendell Major, apparently seeing the handwriting on the wall, clarified that in a letter to city employees 4 years ago. The argument between the two women happened March 28th. The other woman was in for a traffic citation and has admitted that after an argument took place with Jackson, she cursed at and spat at the magistrate. She was arrested, and after she bonded out later that day, she saw Jackson in the parking lot where the alleged brandishing took place. Governor Kay Ivey signed into law the bill to encourage those having suicidal thoughts to temporarily give up their guns while they sort through their issues, reports AL.com's Heather Gann. The Houston Hunter Act was from State Senator Keith Kelly, an Anniston Republican. Houston Tumlin and Hunter Whitley, an Army soldier and a Marine, respectively, died by suicide after returning to Alabama. Their moms were at Ivey's signing. The law creates firearm hold agreements, under which gun owners hand over their firearms to federally licensed gun dealers or law enforcement officers. Dealers and officers return the firearms after an agreed-upon period of time without incurring civil liability. The idea here is that some suffering with PTSD or some other form of severe anxiety or depression might be more willing to give up their firearms to someone a little more removed personally who is bound to return it. Now, if anybody out there is going down that road and having dark thoughts, please call or text the suicide prevention line at 988. There are better times ahead when you and others will be so glad you stuck it out. If participation numbers are a measure of the Choose Act's success, then supporters are doing an end zone dance on the field of their choice. As a matter of fact, There are far more students signed up than there are funded spots in the program. The application deadline for Alabama's latest school choice program has come and gone, and AL.com's Rebecca Griesbach reports that 36,873 students have applied for 14,000 spots. Under the CHOOSE Act, families receive up to $7,000 in education savings accounts, that's ESAs, to use on private school tuition, or up to $2,000 per student for home education expenses. The state plans to prioritize the applications from students with disabilities, then military students and students from low-income homes. However, private schools still decide who they will admit. And former state lawmaker John Rogers, who had been serving a 13-month sentence for his role in a kickback scheme to misuse public money, was released early this week, reports AL.com's Hannah Denham and Joseph D. Bryant. Rogers is 84 years old, and he was released after he had heart surgery. Co-conspirator and fellow former state lawmaker Fred Plump also has been released from prison, according to records. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Until then, y'all come on by and see what we're doing on the internet anytime you want to at AL.com.